I wanted to share on some taillight work that I did, and then a little extra bonus Larson scanner I did for the front. So this is 10574. It's an 82 DeLorean. It was painted black by the previous owner. I picked it up in November of '87, drove it home in a blizzard, which was quite the experience. And so I've been the steward of this car for a while. Kind of fell into some disrepair, but Mike at DMC Midwest was able to get me back on track. Um, this is sharing, right? Is this going across the pictures?
Yes, we're seeing it. Looks good.
Yes, good.
Okay, excellent. Thanks. So a project I did a little while ago, oops, let's get out of this mode, was some addressable LED taillights. I love the look of this car. I love it in black. It's got the standard taillights on it, but I, as a project, did some LED addressable strips. And so here's the design of those and the laser cutting of some acrylic. It's essentially a stacked up design. The LEDs go on the back, then there's a separator layer, and then 2 layers on the front. This is with the backing paper still on the acrylic. Here's the build, starting to lay down the LED strips, wiring them all together, and then placing them. I decided to do a hexagonal offset design rather than a Cartesian rectangular design, and this allowed me to fit 9 strips of lights in there instead of 8. And there it is, red, green, blue, and white. This is the prototype, and then an orange that matches the turn signals. And I can run a lot of different modes on here, but one of them is designed to mimic the lights on the regular DeLorean taillights. So there's the running lights and the backup light, the turn signal, and the brake lights. And there's all of them on. There's the prototype on the car. I used automotive window tint in the prototype, and it turned out to be a bit more reflective than I'd liked it to be. So I changed that for the second version. And the way that fits into the car, I guess that's the laser cutter. I had another video there of how it fits into the car. There's a little bit of a diffusion layer done by etching some lines into the acrylic, and it gives us the little offset on the lighting. This building up the second version of it. And then the mounting on the car. And the way that works is there's some slots cut on the back piece of the acrylic. And then there's a offset bolt that goes in where the regular mounting pieces go. So with the license plate off, you kind of push these on and then slide them into the side. And that way there's no visible fasteners in the front. And there they are on the back of the car. This is still with the window tint on the front, so they're a little reflective. There it's with the running lights on. There it's at a show, still with the reflective tint. It's in front of my friend Kevin's house. Another show. Another show. And then here it's showing the turn signals and backup lights on. And I think this is a video of them. Yep, the turn signals are blinking there. And then there's a short video here. It actually was a high speed, so it slows down, and you can see the sequential turn signals kind of working their way out. This is with the second version of the coating. It's using a Plastidip smoke instead of the automotive window tint, and so it's more of a diffuse black tint. And then finally, this is at DCS 18. Sorry, it's so blurry. That's kind of the state of the project right now. I have a little bit more work that I want to do on it and program up some more designs besides mimicking the regular lights. And then this is a second LED project. Shortly after the trailer for Ready Player One came out, I noticed that they had a Larson scanner, like from KIT, in the DeLorean that was in that movie. And I thought, hey, I could do that. So I I ripped the grill off the front of my car and actually dremeled a slot into it, put a addressable LED strip behind that. And it's pretty well hidden. Here it is off, you can't even see it. And when it's activated, it lights up right through the middle of the grill. Here it is on the car. This one's a little short video. You can see it scanning back and forth. And to get the pattern and the timing for this, I actually dug up some Knight Rider videos on YouTube and single framed them and counted video frames in order to figure out the timing on the light as it scans back and forth. There's a still picture of it. Couple more pictures. I think there's a video of it running here. You might have seen these on the occasional Facebook DeLorean groups. Here it is outside, another car show. And it shows pretty well. And I think this last one is another video. Draws a little bit of attention to the car. And then this little kid really loved it. So that's been a fun mod, and I'm happy to talk about any of those if anybody has any questions, but I know you have a break coming up, so I don't want to use up anybody's restroom time.
Okay, does anybody have any quick questions for Dennis on his very cool car?
I have a quick question. When the doors are open, there is a little bit of stainless visible.
Yes.
Would you consider painting the door jamb black?
I hadn't even thought of it, but that's actually a great point. The insides of the doors are raw. It's never really bothered me, and it actually, it shows when people are asking about the stainless. It allows me to kind of open up the door and show them what the stainless is like in there.
That's a good point, and it transitions nicely to the gray interior too.
3 questions.
Yeah, that's a good point. The original,
Okay.
I don't know if I have an interior shot. The original gray seats got pretty bad off. And so during one of its refurbs down at DMC Midwest, I got new seat covers put on, and
Nice.
they said, well, do you want the dark or the light? Or we actually have these two-tone ones, which I know a lot of, people who keep their car original are going to match the original colors. But obviously this car is quite custom. I appreciate the original cars, to be sure, but this one is way past original. So I said, hey, let's go two-tone. So we actually have the
Cool.
two-tone seats in there.
Nice.
And then the
Okay.
other mod, it's not in this picture, is we did the powder coating and milling on the wheels, which pulls a lot more of the contrast too, which I think goes really well with the
Nice.
black paint.
That's nice. I think Roland had Roland had a quick question.
I do. Thank you, Gail. And
Sure.
Dennis, beautiful machine, and for a painted car, wow, it just really catches your eye, especially with the addressable LEDs. Curious question, what is the processor that you are using to control your addressable LEDs?
The current version of it is using an Arduino, but for some more recent projects, I've switched over to the Teensy. It has a lot more horsepower, and I think I can up the frames per second quite a bit more. This one's not quite where I want it to be. It's down around 15 or 20, and I want to get it up around 60 or more in order to get some really smooth animations for the sequential turn signals.
Wow, very nice,
Yeah.
very nice, Dennis. Thanks
The
so much.
LEDs themselves, they are neopixels?
These are actually the dot star because they
Okay.
have a much higher PWM refresh rate. And that way, if you happen to be scanning your eye across them, you don't get that kind of stutter effect. It's a really clean refresh on them.
And the dot stars will latch, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yeah, so it's a real clean light. People use them on the poi, which are swinging through the air. And so they don't leave the dotted trails at all. It's a real solid look.
Okay, would you mind putting your email in the chat so people
You bet.
can? That'd be great. Now,
Yeah,
also,
if people have any questions or anything, let me know.
sure.